Cleaning Nation, this episode is taken from some coaching calls that Mike did with our clients that we thought would bring tons of value to you. We hope you enjoy. And now on to the show.
Dustin, good to see you, my man. Question says, what role-playing a sales call in someone's home or walkthrough that has some reason not to make the decision today? Yes, we had talked about that. I forget, on Slack or somewhere. And I'm like, let's do it now. So let's rock it. And then any additional notes or comments, just feeling a bit uncomfortable pressing in more to the pain in some situations. So we will role play all of that, but it shouldn't feel uncomfortable at all, because as long as you're doing it for them and not to them, they should be appreciative. People's favorite subject is them and their pain. They love talking about, as humans, this doctor didn't do this and she's of that and I'm so sick of it. Nobody understands me. And you may be the only one that listens to them in their life for days or weeks. So when you do it right, people are super appreciative. The only time it feels weird is if they feel manipulated. Like, he's just asking me these questions because he's trying to sell me something and take advantage of me. Well, of course that's going to feel gross. But when they're like, hey, I want to bid on cleaning my house. Like, why? Because it's dirty. Okay, what's the worst part about that? Well, and then you're off to the races and they want to tell you about their pain. So I promise you, either you're making it up and like you're making it weird and it doesn't have to be weird, or the questions that you're asking are self-serving or manipulative, in which case, of course, you'll feel weird. Like if the question was, well, Dustin, seeing as, this place looks pretty filthy, doesn't it? Seems like the cleaner you hired is terrible at their job. I can't believe, like, these are all statements that make you uncomfortable. If you're like, tell me about that. What makes you say that? Interesting. Why do you feel that way? Or what do you think, what's the worst part about that? None of that's uncomfortable. So the cool thing is we'll role play it, and I love having these calls recorded. So I'll have you be the buyer, which is the easy part. I'll be the seller, which is a little harder. Your only job is to, one, be both the guy that doesn't want to buy today, but you have to be a real human. You can't be a psycho that does crazy things. You have to act like a human would in response to the things that I'm saying. But you not only have a reason not to buy today, but you also don't want to share with me about your pain. And as we're role playing it, you don't have to memorize what I'm saying, because you can go back to the recording. Just feel, if you're like, did Mike make me feel uncomfortable? Does that feel good? Because if you're like, oh my gosh, that felt good for me, then when I ask you to do it, you're like, oh, I can do that because it didn't feel bad for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So let's just role play it. So we're going to do so here's the big, so we'll do the walk. Let's just role play both parts of it. So we'll do the phone call, because here's the problem. If you don't do the phone call and set the ground rules, and then you don't reset the ground rules when you get there, I can't vouch what's going to happen when you make the offer. Very likely they're going to go, I got to whatever. So if you set the ground rules properly, you'll discover here's why I can't do it before you ever go out there. And then you can decide if you want to go on the appointment or not. Is that fair?
Yeah. And I have kind of a question. I don't know if you want it before or after we role play, but it's about when on Monday I went out to do a walkthrough when the cleaners were still there for one of our door hanger leads. And so there was just so much going on at the time. And I don't know if there's method to making sure you get there when the cleaners are, still there wrapping up, versus waiting until later in the day, the next day after they've, more had a chance to review.
You want it closer to when they feel, the goal is when they feel the best. So the next day, they're probably not going to feel as good. I don't know about you, but when I've had my house cleaned, the full enjoyment is why I walk in like, oh, this feels great. Not the day after, I'm like, I'm already on to other things. So I would do it the same day. And there shouldn't be a lot going on. Like, you can tell the cleaners, hey, we're going to sit down in the kitchen. Y'all got to clean somewhere else. Like, this is a 80 square foot house, I can see where that'd be a problem. But if it's a 2,000 square foot house, they don't have to be in the kitchen. And you can tell them, hey, dude, I'm trying to have a conversation or get the hell out. Beforehand, I wouldn't do that on site, but I would. If I hadn't done it before, I'd be like, hey guys, we're trying to get this poor lady sorted. Find something else. Well, we already cleaned it, then clean it again, but we're having a conversation. I would have no problem being like, hey, we're trying to sort this thing out here. Give us some space.
Sure.
All right. So let's just role play that, since that's what we did. Hey, Dustin, thanks for inviting me out. How you feeling about the cleaners? Look good, look bad? How you feeling, brother?
Yeah, looks great. Yeah, they're doing a good job.
Awesome.
I don't know if they're going to get to everything, but what they're working on, they're doing good.
Cool. As long as you feel like you got way more value than you expected, we're happy. Is that where you're at?
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
quick little thing. You see how we reframed it? He's like, well, I don't think we're going to get anywhere they want. I'm like, let me just remind you, this is $67. So the frame is not, did you get everything in the world for $60 or for free? I had a reframe of, you expected this and you got more, right? Yeah, that's what I got. Cool. That's all I need. So if he tries to bitch about it, and if it's a real bitch, no, they're doing a bad job and they do, okay, well, let's talk about that. But he's just trying to stick it to me with, well, I don't think I get everything done. Cool. But you expected A and you get A, B, and C, right? Yeah, cool. All right, let's move forward. Awesome. So thanks for inviting me out, brother. So glad that you're getting so much value already. Like we talked about on the phone, just so you know, I don't want you to feel pressured for anything. So the goal isn't to sell you something. The goal is to get clear on what's going on here. And if it's something I can help, I promise I'll tell you about that. And if it's not, are you okay if I just tell you, hey, I don't think we're the best fit, and try and point you somewhere else?
Yeah, of course. That's great.
And vice versa. For whatever, I'm too expensive or ugly or whatever, you don't like something, you'll just give me a heads up and tell me it's not a fit, right?
Of course. Yep.
Cool. And at the end, if you're like, yeah, this is exactly what I need, and I know these guys can help me, and I'm like, I know we're the best in the city to get Dustin's exact problem that we're both clear on solved, what would you like to see happen at that point?
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely looking for somebody to start cleaning for us. I mean, my wife's not here right now, but I think we'd want to get started. I'd probably have to just confirm it with her, but we'd be ready to get started with cleaning.
Cool. So two things. One, I'm never going to go on an appointment with no wife, because the wife's always a decision maker. Sometimes the husband needs to be on decision as well. So that's why we want that conversation at the first. So this conversation would have been renewing the ground rules I did before I set the call. So if she said that, I would be like, great, let's schedule a time when all of us can be there, because I don't want to, we're going to talk and we're going to get a bunch of clarity and you're going to know what you want. And then your poor wife or husband is going to have to start all over with no information. So let's just do it there and save everybody a bunch of time. So I'm not going to set up the call with the understanding the wife, who's always the decision maker, is not going to be there. Also not going to set up a call with the understanding the husband, who is sometimes the decision maker or co-decision maker, is not going to be there. Not always, but in a married couple, 95% of the time, the wife is the impetus, and 50-50 on if the husband gives a crap, and I'm going to kind of read that.
This is super.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I know it's a super specific situation, but in the situation where we're trying to schedule a cleaning for them that works for them on this first clean off of the door hanger and get spouse there, and they're really hoping for it before Christmas, like, how do you manage all those things and then still try to get it?
So great. It sounds like you need your husband to make this decision, which is great. I'm married. My wife feels the same way. When's the time that the three of us can get together? I can have a cleaning team out there tomorrow afternoon. Does that work?
Okay. Got it.
I'm just going to set the law. I'm not asking. I'm telling, hey, I have a system and I have a project. Just like when you go to the doctor, he doesn't be like, would it be okay on this? Or it's like, here's the time that we got. Here's how it works. Like, what doesn't work for me? And I was really hoping you could prescribe me a lot of drugs without giving me a physical examination. I'm sure you were, but that's not how I do it. So do you want to be physically examined or not? Like, I'm not angry, but I have a system and a process, and that's how it goes. And you can opt in or out of that process.
If it just doesn't work, you just don't go.
I would be confused. So again, if I'm the doctor, is like, I'm not going to let you physically examine me. Can I just be honest? I'm a little curious. You came to the doctor's office. You want some help. Do you really want some help? If so, obviously you're going to want me to examine you. If not, well, then I'm probably not a fit. Same with the cleaning. This is really important for me to get done before Christmas, but my husband has to be okay with it, but he's not willing to be there. I'm confused. Two of those three things can be true. It's super important. You want to get it done before Christmas, but your husband's really important we get his opinion, but he's not interested in attending. I'm just confused. Help me understand so we can sort this out in a way that works for you.
Yeah, he just works all week this week, so he's just not available during the day.
Okay. So what time does he get home?
Typically about 5:00.
Cool. And I get, I've come home from work and not wanted to deal with a goddamn cleaner, that's for sure. But I've also got home and not wanted to hear about having to do the cleaner. I don't typically do 5:30, but if that would be cool and I brought a beer for your hubby, I'm happy to come out at 5:30. And we'll just have the cleaner show up at 3. It'll be done. I'm just going to make it work, man.
Okay. All right, cool.
And it doesn't have to be. It's just 90% of your sales should happen on site. The whole we're going to come back is rarely happens. And again, if it was better for the client, fine, but it's not. They just make it worse on themselves, and they just put themselves through the ringer, and it's worse on you. And it's like, hey man, if we're serious about solving this problem, let's solve this problem. If you're not serious about the problem, then call me when you're serious. Like, I don't need practice bidding. If you really want to solve this problem, let's figure it out. So if I came in, so I would set that up differently for sure. But let's just assume it's there. I would go, got it. So you told me Christmas is super important, and you've got to talk to your husband. So totally respect that. Again, I'm a married guy. Don't. Last thing I want to do is get you sided with the love of your life. Goal is to make her happy, not not get you on the couch, dude. So if it's really, but you'd said it's really important for you having Christmas, correct, or prior to Christmas?
Right.
Cool. So what we can do is we'll just have you put you on the schedule. I'll get your credit card and talk with your husband. I won't run it till tomorrow. Just talk with your husband, and for any reason, if he's pissed or it's not what you want, just give me a call and we'll take you off the schedule. And I either won't run your card, or if we want to run it, and we haven't come clean, we'll sort you out. Fair?
Okay.
See, it's not pushy. It's just you told me you want it done before Christmas. And now you're saying, I don't want to think about it. I want to think about it. Well, which is it? You want it done before Christmas, or you want to think about it? Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. And we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk. So let's just role play the pain so you don't feel, and again, I'm mostly going to be with women for residential, but not that it'll never be a man. All right. So we got all that sorted out. We've got a plan. If we know we can help you and you know that we can help you, we got a plan of how to get you on before Christmas. But let's just, before we just come out and start making appointments, I really want to understand what's going on and why you're unhappy. So what made you invite me out today?
Yeah, we just have a cleaner that we are not able to communicate with. The company that we hired sends a cleaner that doesn't speak English, and we can't communicate with her. And it's getting to the point where it's too frustrating to continue.
Frustrating is a strong word. What's the most frustrating part about not being able to communicate with the people in your home?
We can't tell her what we would like done. If it needs to change or we want something done differently, we have to call the company and they have to relay the message to her, and I can't even write her a note. So it makes things challenging and takes extra time for me, and I just don't like it.
That makes sense. So if I may ask, think back to the time, because I really want to make sure we get this solved. Think back to the time when, what was the most frustrating piece, just so I understand, the last time where you were the most frustrated, where you were really frustrated with not being able to communicate with the person in your home. Walk me through that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, she was here, and I knew that we wanted something done. Specifically, we wanted the upstairs bathroom done, and they're not typically doing it. And I had the two boys, and we were, busy watching them, and I didn't want to have to call the company, and then could they get the message relayed to her in time while she was still here? It was just like the last straw.
So was it more frustrating that you're missing out time with your boys? It sounds like you don't get a lot, or is it more frustrating you're paying for a service and you couldn't get what you wanted?
More the second. I mean, I'm still with the boys, regardless, but for me to have to think through that situation and have to deal with it. Okay. Paying for something that I don't feel like is adequate for what we really.
Is you feel like you're getting taken advantage of, or they're just lazy, or does it make you angry? Does it make you frustrated? What emotions you're walking with?
Yeah, just frustrated. I don't feel like we should have to do that to get the service that we're paying for, to go through those. Feels so like
right now is a lot of times where you guys will start selling. Yeah, you shouldn't have to go through it. That's stupid. We would never. Notice how I'm not doing any of that. He's throwing a bunch of bait for me to start selling and go, we would never. That's crazy. Just asking questions. Everyone cool? Don't bite. He's trying to get you to bite. We're not selling, just asking questions and understanding. And I'll role play another 2 or 3 minutes. So because your wife's not here, I'm sure she's got thoughts. How does she perceive this whole situation of people in her home that she can't communicate with?
I mean, she is frustrated for me because I'm usually the one here, since I lost, my job recently, and I've been stay-at-home dad for a little while. And, we used to have a nanny that came and did some of this, but now it's, I'm home. But so she just feels my pain when I complain to her when she gets home. So.
Oh, I didn't realize you're a stay-at-home dad. So you're here, they're here for hours at a time, and you're here for an hours at a time. I don't want to put my crazy stuff on you, but for me, I'm like, man, I can't relax in my own home because there's effectively strangers and I can't really make friends with them or communicate or feel good or say, hey, I'm going to go out. We'll be back. Or please don't let the dogs out. Am I hearing you right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for that period of time, it's like, is she doing what she needs to be doing? And she does a good job for what she does, but I just, like, if I want to talk to her and tell her something, I can't.
Got it. So we could keep role playing, but we could go backwards and forwards. How long has this been a problem? If you don't get it fixed, what's going to be the worst part going in the future? Why do you have to get it fixed now? How do your boys feel about having kind of weird people in the house? Lots of directions we could go. But the big thing is, did you feel like I was pressuring you or being weird? Or were you just like, yeah, this is a normal conversation. Someone who's trying to get to the bottom of it so they can help me.
Yeah, pretty normal. I mean, a couple of times I felt like I was reiterating myself, but pretty normal.
And it's tough because you only can role play the pain that they gave you. So they only gave you one. But I'm guessing if I'd asked those to that person, he would have different layers that you just hadn't gotten. So, and this, sometimes people reiterate, rare, that their pain is completely one dimensional. It's all summed up in one thing and there's no other consequences. But if it is, I'm just like, hey, totally get it. I feel like I'm hearing a theme of frustration, last straw. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but a lot of times there's other things that are going on. I just want to make sure if we work together, you're happy, not just today, but 6 months from today and however long you want to be with us. So I just want to make sure I get all the things that are wrong and all the consequences. So we make sure if we offer to fix your problem, we really fix the problem. Is that fair? So you can kind of ask for permission if you feel like we're going around a little bit. Just tell them, here's why I'm doing it and here's how it benefits you. And most people are like, oh, no problem. Cool. And feel free to bring in a transcript of a call anytime. Happy to review it.
Yeah. Okay.
You feel like you get what you need, or you feel like that got you where you need so you can try again?
Yeah. It's really helpful.
Cool. Again, I think 80% on that one will be just setting the ground rules a little more definitively. And a lot of that confidence comes from practice. So when you've done it a bunch more, you'll be more, like when you don't know what to expect and someone's like, oh, I've got this weird schedule. Like, oh my gosh, maybe I'll just deal with that. But when you start doing a bunch of them, you'll just be like, yep, here's the thing. Here's what I got. Just like when you go to the doctor's office, you're like, oh, I don't know. You sound busy. They're like, I've done this 1,000 times. So nothing you say is and that's really what you want, is just that confidence of like, yep, no problem. Here's what we're going to do. Like, I didn't know beforehand I would do it at night, but when she's like, my husband's working 8 to 5, well, that's a reasonable thing. She's not trying to be a jerk. She's like, he's got a job. What do you want from me? And I'm like, when's he get home? 5 o'clock. Well, I put myself in issues. Am I going to want to come home and talk cleaning? No. But is he going to want to come home and have her yap about cleaning? Whether I'm there or not, it's still a pain in his ass. So if I bring a beer, maybe, or a 6-pack of beer, maybe you'll feel better. And it's easy. And for $4, no other cleaner is going to do that. So it's really just a matter of getting to the bottom of it and curiosity, as opposed to, I'm trying to sell you something, or you've got to follow my strict, if I have a process for you to follow, it's to your benefit, not so I can sell you something, but so I can get you clarity and help you make a good decision. Fair?
Good. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. A lot of it and especially the guys and gals have been in this part a little longer. It's not the words, it's where you're coming from. So a lot of it's just trying to get out of, I have to sell you something, into, I'm just trying to get to the bottom and help you. And if I know that we're really the best to help you, of course, I'll do my best to help you. And if I'm not, well, that's fine. We'll figure out something else. And when they get that energy of like, they're not trying to manipulate me and sell me, they're just really trying to help, they get super honest. They're just more transparent and appreciative. And again, that's why these in-home estimates go so much further, because even when they'll say yes more often, they'll be happier with the services that they accept. They will be happy even at a 45% cost of goods sold. And when something does go wrong, they're much more likely to call you because they have a relationship and they know that you care. They just cancel. Like, I think I've shared on the doctor thing. I think I've shared this before. They did research, and the doctors that were the best doctors did not get sued for malpractice less than the worst doctors. The doctors that spent the most time with their patients got sued for malpractice. So even if there's a worse doctor who was actually worse at his job and actually did more malpractice, but he spent more time with his patients, he would get sued less than the doctor who was actually worse at his job, but spent less time, less good at the job, more malpractice, but they spend time. Patients do not sue. The best of the best of the best that actually made fewer mistakes but didn't spend as much time with their patients, more often to get sued. So same thing here. The more time that you spend with them, more like, this guy gets me, will go a long, long way, for months or even sometimes years into the sales process, where you get a call or, hey, I don't want to complain, or, instead of just cancel. that makes sense. So these investments will pay for a long time. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.